Welcome to Push Culture News. My name is Travis Davenport. This is the first installment of Push Culture News, and we will hopefully be bringing you a weekly news coverage of anything longboarding, anything push culture, whether it is IGSA coverage, local events happening, cross-country treks. We want to bring the community and together and give it this platform to share with each other what all is going on in our lives and in our local scenes. Skateboarding glides into new phase was published in the New York Times by Matthew Higgins on July 20th. He covered why and how longboarders have become the fastest growing segment in an otherwise sluggish skateboard market. According to Action Watch, a survey of surf and skate shops across the United States, which was quoted in this article, overall skateboard sales dropped by 2% in the first few months of this year versus last year. Longboard sales have increased by 43%. Matt Higgins interviewed industry leaders like Larry Peterson, aka Longboard Larry, and Brian Petrie of Earthwing, who did big things starting the New York scene. As the New York City events become so popular and the numbers become so great, we might have 50 to 300 longboarders ripping down Broadway for an event. At the starting line, we're all together. For the first half mile, we're all 100, 300 guys skating together, just running red lights. And it's getting a lot of attention. The bystanders, the tourists are on the corners taking pictures. The locals are sitting there going, what? Never seen it before, but it's big and it's happening and it's now and it's so exciting. And from the West Coast, Downhill Skateboarding Doesn't Fly with Laguna Beach Critics was published in the LA Times by Tony Barboza on July 25th. This is a classic Southern California showdown between young kids on wheels and their adults telling them to slow down. Residences of popular slopes speak of heart-stopping encounters and want the city to ban the sport on most hills and enact a speed limit. Several cities, including Malibu and Newport Beach, already have laws restricting the practice of downhill. If you are in the area and want to protect this decades-long California tradition, there's a group on Facebook called Friends of Safe Skateboarding in Laguna. You can join to help continue to be organized. There's a lot to do. It has to be done right, and there can be a compromise between these residents and these skaters. However, the concerns are justified and certainly to be addressed. While we increasingly develop our skill sets and our equipment and reach higher speeds and have more people skating more often, this does have unfortunate occurrences. Central Valley skateboarder Sean Smith was killed in a collision with an automobile at the age of 41 last week. He was riding with two friends near Albury Road and went for a pass in a hair turn and collided with an SUV. Despite his headgear and being airlifted to the hospital, the community has lost a friend and a veteran of this sport. Both of these stories point to the discrepancy between open road downhill skateboarding and closed road sanctioned events, which brings us to the IGSA coverage for the week. Which brings us to Argueny, France, for the Graveyard Call. It was the third stop on the IGSA tour this year. It's a 1-mile course. Tops out at 47 miles per hour. I read in my 2010 official guide to the World Cup Series. You can all get one of these by contacting the IGSA. $5. Really, really cool to have. It has coverage of every stop on the tour as well as the listing of all the top racers. And in first place was Kevin Ramier. In second place this week was Patrick Switzer. And in third, Louis Poloni came in. A very surprising upset had Mishko sitting at 33rd, and we're looking forward to round 4 of the World Cup at the Padova Grand Prix in Tiolo, Italy, July 30th through August 1st. We'll have that coverage coming up next week. For our board spotlight for this week, we look to rain longboards for Long Treks on Skate Decks limited edition Demon Seed. The Demon Seed is a very popular deck of theirs that we know and love. However, an adaptation of this has been developed by Paul Kent, who spent thousands of miles on long-distance trips conceiving the most efficient distance skating or commuting board ever made. Thanks so much to the whole team, Adam, Aaron, and Paul of Long Treks on Skate Decks, for being such an inspiration to myself and many of us, and much thanks to Rain for supporting those guys and helping pass on the knowledge they learned to us, the consumers. more long-distance events. We have Skating South started last weekend, a journey through Northern Europe. It was east coast of Norway to Prague, Czech Republic. 3,000 kilometers in 7 weeks. Skating South is going to cover to raise money for the Meningitis Trust. It's a great place to donate and can be found at justgiving.com/skatesouth if you're interested in making a donation to the Meningitis Trust. Also, here back home, Concrete Liberty from Indianapolis, Indiana, will be doing Naptown to Chi-Town event, skating to Chicago, Illinois, August 23rd through 25th. Proceeds to the Livestrong Foundation. You can check out concreteliberty.com for all the information there. And congratulations, in July, 3 skaters from Plymouth, near Devon in England, broke the existing UK distance skateboarding record of 900 plus miles in 26 days. Congratulations, guys. Good. And in general industry news, actionsportsnow.com has recently launched. It's a new database designed to connect people with local action sports resources. It's designed to help you, the consumer, connect with local surf, skate, and snowboard retailers nationwide. Boz Boards is in our company spotlight this week from Toronto, Canada. Mike Boz is the sole founder and builder of Boz Boards. And after pressing boards for 4 years and developing a real relationship with Ryan Rubin of Longboard Living, Mike launched Boz in 2008. And began to have a vision for growing Boz into a namesake in Canadian longboarding. In contrast to the predominant idea of Canadian longboarding, which we know from Land Yachts, who hails from the mountains in Vancouver and focus on downhill, Toronto is relatively flat and is the next new mecca for push culture and the urban commuting style that has gotten to be so prevalent here in New York City. So do be expecting to see a lot from Boz Boards in the next few years. They have a great scene where they're at in Toronto, and they're even becoming a good part of what we have here in New York City by sponsoring 2 local riders, Steven Sanchez and Nate Cohen. Both incredibly talented guys. It's really great to see what they're doing on these uniquely shaped boards. If you want to check it out yourself, it's bozboards.com. Boz Boards, check them out. In other news, because we wouldn't have longboarding without surfing, the Surfrider Foundation gets a 4-star rating from the charity evaluator. For the 3rd year in a row, the Surfrider Foundation has achieved the coveted 4-star rating. This prestigious rating shows that the Surfrider Foundation is able to consistently execute its mission to protect and preserve our oceans, waves, and beaches in a fiscally responsible manner, while efficiently growing and managing its finances. By earning this 4-star rating for the 3rd year in a row, Charity Navigator has reaffirmed that Surfrider Foundation is a credible and trustworthy place to invest, says Jim Moriarty, CEO of the Surfrider Foundation. That's it for Push Culture News this first week. We will be coming at you over and over again forever, whether you like it or not, because we love longboarding.